That was quite a good transition, if I do say so myself. Hold on, let me get this stream back up. Hopefully audio is working. It should, though. And apparently we have had well, we have a no-go still because the weather is still red, but they've entered the 30-minute hold, which is probably going to be extended. So, yeah. Probably going to be a 1.5 hour long hold, but who knows? It might clear up and we have a go. But I'll just stick around here, and if we have a delay, I'll put the stream on pause, and we'll see if it launches today. If not today, we'll have another shot tomorrow. But if it doesn't launch today, it means that Starlink is going to be delayed. Yeah, there's this is because of the forming subtropical storm in the Atlantic. It's right over the Bahamas, I think, right now. It's it's off the coast of Florida. It's a low circulation zone, and it is forming into a subtropical storm, and it might eventually be a tropical storm, but no, it's just the band of rain wrapping around the lower pressure area that is now the concern, and it's also quite gusty. Oh, almost what? I don't know. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that, but yeah. And let's see, yeah, my Twitter feed is up. So today, hopefully, we'll have the OTV-6 launch. As you remember, might remember, Atlas 5 has already launched. OTV-1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 was on a Falcon 9, and now 6 is going to be on Atlas 5 again. And I think they switched back to an Atlas 5 because they have a service module now on the X37B. There are no pictures of it, otherwise I would have shown it. But my guess is that the extra mass of the service module made it impossible to launch it on a Falcon 9, or there might be not weight-wise, but I think volume-wise it just fits into the fairing right now. Storm clouds. Cumulus clouds. Yeah. Well, the storm is not really fully formed. It's just an infest. It's not even a depression yet. But yeah, for everybody here that's new, welcome. I do streams. Yeah. So if you have a question about the mission, rocket, other spaceflight related stuff, just put it into the comments or into the live stream, and I'll try and answer it. And looking forward into the month, by the way, we have another H2B, the last H2B launch with the HTV-9 from Japan. I'll try and host that too, because that's quite fun. It's going to be the last of its kind. Well, sort of, because it will make way for the H3 rocket eventually. But yeah, the Atlas 5. This Atlas 5, in my opinion, is a naked Atlas 5 because it doesn't have any boosters. I prefer the one with boosters, but yeah. There's gonna be next mission is, I believe, the Perseverance Mars rover, and then we'll have the, what is it called? Let me just look it up. Then we'll have a 511, which is the big fairing, and then one booster. So if you don't know what it stands for, 5, if you have either a 5 or a 4 variant of the Atlas 5. 5 means the big 5-meter wide fairing. 4 is the 4-meter wide fairing, and then you have another digit which is 0 till 5, which is the number of boosters, and then the last digit is 1 or 2. 1 for 1 engine on the Centaur second stage, and 2 for 2 engines on the Centaur second stage. and the 4-meter fairing variant can only launch with maximum of 3 boosters, and the 5 can launch with 5 maximum. So yeah, and it's all about the space they have inside of the fairing, because weight-wise it could launch on a 401, but then you don't have enough space inside of the fairing because the spaceplane is too wide, so therefore they use also the 5-meter wide fairings. Yeah, there are quite a bit of clouds, but I believe the lift-off winds are also quite a concern, especially for lower thrust-weight ratio rockets, because they spend longer lower in the atmosphere, so if it's quite gusty, it might be dangerous to the rocket itself. Yeah, and while we wait on ULA to start, and also, yeah, this is officially classified mission, so they'll end the webcast after stage separation. They'll probably show confirmation of the center main engine start, so that they will call that main engine start 1. I don't know what the cutoff is for the winds, but looking at it's probably the wind gusts that are concerned, and not continuous wind. But with the 5-meter fairing, you have more surface area, so that will probably be lower. We can ask Story. Is it changed to 80% no-go? That is unfortunate. I don't think we'll see a launch today, but knowing ULA, they'll probably try and push to T-4, and then they have a 2-hour window, so, well, according to someone in the Discord, they have 4 launch slots in this complete window. So yeah, they have one at the beginning, and then, hold on. Yeah, it is not only the gimbals, but it is probably because if your rocket starts to drift too much, they don't want that, and yeah, they can have 8 degrees of gimbaling, and then as soon as they get beyond that, it crashes, so they want to be safe. But yeah, hopefully it will lift off today. But talking about spaceflight, furthermore, hopefully this month we'll see Launcher 1, and I'm quite excited for Launcher 1, but yeah, the launch will take off from the Cosmic Girls, and it will probably be one of the most exciting things of 2020, have a 747 drop rocket. That's quite interesting. Okay, somebody told me that they will... Apparently, they use one of the Canon satellites, which are also classified, but we know about them anyway, to check this out after launch, and then, yeah, as Lucas said, timestamps. This coincides with the orbital elements, I guess, from one of the Canon satellites, so they can check it out with if nothing is damaged upon launch. But the odds have decreased from 40% to 20%, so likely we won't see any liftoff today. But I'll be back tomorrow, don't worry, but yeah. Yeah, looking at it. But we'll have 2 hours again. They can push it out 2 hours, see if everything improves. If not, they'll scrub for tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, it was still high clouds, or high winds and cumulus clouds. Everything is on flight level, fuel wise, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, and apparently this is going to a 44-degree orbit, so from Europe it might be visible, pending conditions, but it's not very visible. I believe last launch went, so last time they launched this spacecraft, they went into a 53-degree orbit, and I've observed it a few times. Yeah. Yes, they go. Okay, I'll put this on. Let's see if anything interesting happens. So yeah. Did I miss anything? No. Yeah. But about my intro, the space shuttle thing you saw, I actually, well, I'm still waiting for servos because I'm trying to make the Spaceship 2 and then stick an engine in it and then try to fly it. They knew this weather was likely. Could they be able to push to get more launch height to avoid these occurrences? Atlas 5 already has 2 launch sites, like the Cape and the other site, but for America you don't really have a lot of options to launch. Yes, I'll turn up the sound.
Of the 6th X-37B orbital test vehicle flight for the Department of the Air Force. Good morning and welcome to Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. I'm Tyler Strickland, a trajectory engineer from ULA's mission design team. We have 2 10-minute windows available today. The first opens at 8:24 a.m. Eastern and the second at 10:13 a.m. The count is currently in a planned 30-minute hold. There are 2 planned holds in our nearly 7-hour launch count. The holds give our team additional time to resolve any issues prior to entering the terminal count. At this time, the team is not working any issues and we are proceeding towards an on-time liftoff. This morning's launch is part of the America Strong series, a collaborative salute from the Space Force and ULA to recognize healthcare workers, first responders, and other essential personnel. We'll talk more about this in a few minutes. Jessica Williams, the 45th Space Wing's weather officer, recently briefed the launch team on current weather conditions here at Cape Canaveral. The probability of violating launch constraints is 80%. The ground winds are 18 to 23 knots out of the northeast, and the temperature is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. So the weather is currently no-go, and we are still planned T0 for the 8:24 a.m. Eastern.
It's also likely they try and push it to like T-minus 30 seconds, and then
at the request of our customer, this morning's live coverage will include following confirmation of engine start on the Centaur upper stage. In addition to the orbital test vehicle, today's flight also includes FalconSat 8, an educational platform for cadets carrying 5 experimental payloads that will be operated by the Cadet Space Operations Squadron from the U.S. Air Force Academy and sponsored by the Air Force Research Laboratory. We also have 2 NASA experiments to study the results of radiation and other space effects on a material sample plate and seeds to grow food. And we have an experiment from the Naval Research Laboratory to transform solar power into radio frequency microwave energy, which could then be transferred to ground. Let's take a look at the events from liftoff through main
space power.
And liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket.
The Atlas V RD-180 engine ignites and generates 3.83 meganewtons, or 860,200 pounds of thrust, to lift the rocket away from the pad. Shortly after liftoff, Atlas begins a pitchover to attain the proper flight path, while minimizing the pressure the vehicle experiences during flight. Within the first couple minutes of flight, the Atlas V reaches Mach 1, the speed of sound. Approaching payload fairing jettison, the Atlas V is burning propellant at a rate of 719 kilograms, or 1,585 pounds per second, traveling more than 9,500 kilometers, or 5,900 miles per hour, and located 112 kilometers, or 69 miles in altitude, and 116 kilometers, or 72 miles downrange. During ascent, the X-37B orbital test vehicle is protected inside a 5-meter diameter payload fairing. This two-piece shell encapsulates both the Centaur upper stage and the X-37B. Once the vehicle is climbed above the densest part of Earth's atmosphere, the payload fairing is jettisoned. Following jettison of the payload fairing, propellant levels deplete and the booster engine shuts down. Following booster engine cutoff, the Atlas Centaur separation system activates to release the booster stage. The vehicle now weighs a little more than 15% of what it did at liftoff. The Centaur main engine is then started to begin second stage flight. Following main engine start, Centaur continues on to deliver the X-37B to begin its classified mission.
Yeah, that's what I saw, because they called it out that they only have two 10-minute
ULA
windows.
is using the Atlas V 501 configuration to launch the X-37B. This is the 84th flight of the
But
Atlas V
only 5
rocket
minutes
in
off
ULA's
isn't that bad.
139th mission. Produced in ULA's 1.6 million square foot factory in Decatur, Alabama, the 501 is comprised of a common core booster powered by an RD-180 engine and a Centaur second stage powered by an Aerojet Rocketdyne RL-10C1 engine. A RUOG 5-meter diameter payload fairing protects the X-37B orbital test vehicle during ascent. On April 23rd, the Atlas V first stage was transported to the Vertical Integration Facility, or VIF, at Space Launch Complex 41, where cranes lifted the 33-meter or 107-foot-long booster onto the Mobile Launch Platform, or MLP. 2 days later, the pre-assembled interstage adapter, Centaur upper stage, and lower half of the payload fairing was delivered to the VIF and lifted atop the Atlas V booster.
It's quite a good
Stacking
big
of the
challenge.
rocket was completed on May 5th, when the X-37B, encapsulated in a payload fairing, was mated to the Centaur. Atlas V launch countdowns begin with moving the rocket from the VIF to the pad. At approximately 10 a.m. Thursday, the quarter-mile trip began, using 6 components to complete the 20-minute trip. Weighing in at about 2 million pounds, the Mobile Launch Platform, or MLP.
So if the service with its service module, can the X-37B change its orbit? I don't think so, unless they made a gap for the engine exhaust to go through. So if it's only like an external carrier, they might be, but I don't think so. I think they have to do the experiments inside of the service module first, unless the service module carries like ways of changing the orbit itself. And but yeah. Also, the quite interesting about the Atlas V, or at least I think that's quite interesting.
The X-37B orbital test vehicle is an experimental test platform managed by the Department of the Air Force Rapid Capabilities Office. Let's take a look at this unique program.
2019 at the forefront, touching down, speeding ahead, setting records for time and orbit. This is the X-37B, our country's only reusable spaceplane. Project and pride of the U.S. Air Force and Boeing.
Well, technically the space shuttle was also a reusable space plane, but
for as long as it takes to get the
hey,
job done. The X-37B
it's Boeing.
has ensured America's superiority across air and space, and it's come home again and again and again. Poised to advance and grow, meeting critical challenges, it flies safely, autonomously, and sustainably. This is innovation moving humankind forward. This is the X-37B.
So yeah, like I said, what is interesting about the Atlas V is that they call the first stage
United Launch Alliance
booster
has
and not
successfully launched 4 previous orbital
main
test
stage.
vehicle missions. So let's look back at those missions as we count down to the next one. On April 22, 2010, the first flight of the Atlas V 501 rocket successfully launched the maiden flight of the orbital test vehicle for the U.S. Air Force. Launched on March 5, 2011, the second OTV mission for the X-37B program was in support of space experimentation, risk reduction, and concept of operations development for long-duration and reusable space vehicle technologies. On December 11, 2012, ULA's Atlas V rocket again successfully boosted an X-37B into space. The rocket's 5-meter diameter payload fairing protected the OTV during an atmospheric ascent, and the Centaur upper stage injected the payload into the desired orbit. And ULA's 4th OTV mission launched on May 20th, 2015 from right here at Cape Canaveral.
Yes, and then the other one was launched by SpaceX, and so we're now OTV-6.
As we continue to do our part to slow the spread of COVID-19, protecting the health and the safety of the launch team is a top priority. We continue to follow CDC and local guidelines, including increased physical distancing between individuals sitting on console and wearing face coverings when practical. As I mentioned earlier, the USSF-7 launch carries a special dedication. Together with the Space Force,
I like this.
ULA is honoring healthcare workers, first responders, and other essential personnel on the front lines. And with this launch, we also stand in solidarity with those personally suffering or experiencing loss due to the virus. America Strong is a national salute to all those that have given so much during this pandemic. The Department of Defense and United Launch Alliance salute each American serving on the front lines in our fight against COVID-19. We are all in this together. Following liftoff, a few special guests will share their perspective on the role of our heroes in this fight. With today's flight, the Boeing OTV spacecraft team also wishes to remember one of their own who recently lost his battle with cancer. Vincent, or Vinny, de la Torre, was a key member of the OTV propulsion team who served on the launch and recovery teams for more than a decade. Thank you, Vinny, for all you did to make Boeing and the OTV successful.
I think it's good that ULA dedicates every launch to a member of their team or the customer's team.
Before we pull the team, let's watch a quick
everybody.
message from Leanne Corrett, President and CEO of Boeing Defense, Space, and Security.
To everyone supporting today's historic launch of the X-37B, thank you. On behalf of the entire Boeing company, I want to express my appreciation for your work to achieve this critical mission. Since the X-37B's launch in 2010, it has shattered all expectations. Every time it launches into space, it achieves first. And there is no other program that provides our nation an unrivaled capability to rapidly test and integrate new space technologies. None of these achievements would have been possible without your hard work and dedication. Good luck today. Thank you for everything you do. Stay
Cheeky
safe
Starliner in the
and
background.
be well. Go Atlas, go Centaur, go SF-7, and go X-37B.
Ooh, I like those camera views. Please show them more. Oh yeah, you can see on the radar there's more rain incoming. Yeah, it's looking really bad. I like this view. They should show this more often. ULA, if you're watching, show this more often. Yeah, and looking at the camera shaking.
LC on 1. AC.
Go AC.
Ready to operate the LH2 storage tank liquid level arm.
LD net 1.
LD.
MD.
MD.
Proceed AC.
Okay, this poses no issues. Team's evaluator recommend forcing this measurement to be inactive. Method is to use option 354, and that would be done by fuel tube.
The L- count is
We
still
remain in the planned
at
30-minute hold as we continue towards liftoff. In a few
13,
moments,
I
launch
think
conductor Dylan
it
Rice will
says.
pull the launch team for the final go to pick up the countdown. 29 engineers and managers are pulled for system status and readiness to proceed. This is the final status check for all Atlas vehicle systems, ground systems, spacecraft, and the U.S. Space Force Eastern Range. The vehicle system readiness poll includes electrical systems,
Let's go.
hydraulics, pneumatics, propulsion systems, flight control, and
So
movement.
range is likely red,
Let's listen in as Dylan Rice performs the final polling of the launch team.
since weather is in range. So, but who knows? They might switch it to go. I don't think so, but let's listen. But to come back on like what's weird,
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas Systems. Propulsion.
anomaly chief is a great job
Go.
description. Yeah.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatic. Go. LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur Systems. Propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatic.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
LH2. LH2.
Go.
Pass gas.
Go.
Electrical Systems. Airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Let's go.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
GCQ.
Go.
Operation support.
Go.
COM.
Go. Hopefully.
Go.
Yes.
Umbilical.
Go.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Red line monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety management.
Go.
ULA safety off.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range,
Range.
coordinator.
It's
No
red.
go for range weather
Yes.
LCCs. Roger. LD.
5 minutes, 30 seconds.
No go and with the range coordinator at a no go.
Yeah. Well, that
Roger.
was
And,
expected. Mission D
team
is
on
its
that one,
own.
we're going to stand by here. LC switch will remain not ready.
And it says T minus count. If you look to your, I think it's the same. To your left on the top, it says T minus count 4 minutes, and underneath that is 1 hour and 59 minutes. Is that the from the opening to the window to like the remaining? Oh, it says it underneath.
The range is
I can't
currently
read.
no-go due to the violation of the cumulus cloud.
Yeah, and if you look on the radar, they're right of the pad. Even you can see them in the camera. I guess they'll push it to the end of the window. Because the first 10 minutes, they're not going to make that. And they'll probably wait 2 hours. But the...
LD on 1.
Go LD.
Please coordinate a new T0 of 12:34 Zulu.
Roger. 1234 Zulu. RC LC net 1.
So that's in 1,
Please
2.
coordinate a new T0 of 1234 Zulu.
So that's in 15 minutes, right?
ALC, please set the clock for a new T0 of 1234 Zulu.
340.
Roger,
Yeah, that's
in
in 14 minutes. So that's 10 more minutes till the poll. Yeah, that's the end of the first 10-minute window. Probably not be go again, but and then we'll have to wait 2 more hours for no.
The launch time
1
has
hour.
now been rescheduled
You'll get
for
it.
8:34 a.m. Eastern. This will be the end of the first window of opportunity.
LC Field 2.
Go field 2.
I just wanted to confirm that Puma on 85 was force inactive.
Roger.
Oof. Yes. Oh, I muted it. That wasn't part of the plan. Hold on. Yes. But to come back to what is kind of strange, not weird. Well, it's sort of. Bro, they are escaping Corona. Well, technically the plane is. Or the thing is. But if you have like, yeah, conditions are worsening. I don't think it's gonna go off today, but we'll sit this out and then see what they do. But to come back to like the weird thing is that instead of calling the first stage, calling it like the main stage, they call it the booster, and normally you would have like when the centaur ignites, you'd say second engine start, but they say main engine start. So that's kind of a typical thing for the Atlas 5.
Roger.
Link doesn't work. What link doesn't work? I can't see a link showing up, so. There. It's an order. Thank you. Follow my stream. You don't have to follow my stream. If you want to go to the other stream, they sent me on Discord. I didn't have a link. Oh, now you did. Well, I use windy.com, which... Ooh. Well... It's 10 a.m. It's... Might be a bit better. Medium clouds. But the wind is picking up, so that might not be good. Anyway, I'll put it on. Hold up. Look, this is what Lucas sent me. Like 10-ish is what they're going for next. Wind is picking up. Temperature is up though. Doesn't really matter. Humidity is down, so clouds will probably be less, but nah, not looking good. Not really, anyway. Let's see what tomorrow the predictions are. Around the same time. It's better. Yeah. Hold on, I probably have a windy open still. Let's see. Yeah, I saw this earlier on, like the rotation is like this, and all the clouds over the ocean are
in a few
basically
minutes,
smashing
we'll
into
re-poll the team to see if Atlas is ready to proceed. Currently, we're still in a hold based on the no-go for weather conditions for cumulus
We're
cloud
still
formation
no-go.
in high winds.
If they scrub, well, meh. I'll put the thing on pause, or like if they move it to the end of the window. But with winds worsening, might be just within range, but it's gonna cut it close. This is a lot. It's a lot of wind, a lot of rain. Well, winds.
L minus 8 minutes.
Well, winds are quite bad. If you look at the clouds moving over, that's way too quick. So, the Soyuz might be able to launch in this weather. But Soyuz doesn't really care about the weather. They're like, weather, what is that? Just go straight through.
We remain in the planned 30-minute hold as we continue towards liftoff. Let's listen in as Dylan Rice performs the final polling of the launch team.
probably no go. Everything is go except the weather. A Russian Olympian on those clouds. Well, man.
L minus 7 minutes.
The Russians they care a tiny bit less about safety. They're like, oh, we'll just go. Minus 8 minutes, so that means in like 2 minutes we'll have the yes, nothing stops Roscosmos. They'll go ahead anyway. Oh, if you look at the middle camera you just saw, that is pointing at the bottom.
Go LD.
Normally boosters go on to those
constraints
attachments.
For the two weather conditions, we are going to move to the second window opportunity.
Yes.
Please coordinate a new team.
Well, no, actually.
14:13:000.
141300 Zulu. Roger. RC, LC, net 1.
RC, go.
Please coordinate a new T0 of 141300 Zulu with the range. Copy.
So that's just
ALC,
under
please
2
count
hours.
down clock for a new T0 of 1413 Zulu. Roger.
Okay. Yes. Well, good time to if there are any questions, I'll take them now.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and holding. We are not able to launch during our first window this morning due to the weather constraints. However, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a second 10-minute window available, and that window opens at 10:13 a.m. Eastern. So the rocket remains fueled, and the countdown will continue to hold at T-minus 4 minutes. For now, we'll take a break from our live coverage while we wait for the next window. Our coverage will resume at approximately 10:03 a.m.
Look, I have a
Eastern.
window here.
We'll see you back here in about 90 minutes.
But yes, 90 minutes. Yeah, if we're gonna hold, I think I'm gonna hold the stream. I have nothing to do today, so I'll just wait and sit around. But yeah, how's everybody doing in this time? Rocket launchers are my go-to at this moment. Sports have stopped except for rocket launches, so hereby I declare rocket launches a sport. Yes, they should be aired everywhere on television. There are no sporting events, so rocket launches should be the go-to, right? Change my mind. $227 people have clicked on this stream. I think I'm doing good. Yes, but this is going to be a sort of improvised thingy again. I didn't really prepare for holding. I need to put text on here. My logo. Yes. Hold on. The annoying thing is, for some reason, I can't get the YouTube chat in my Streamlabs, which I know I can, but I don't know how I can put them in right now. I should figure that out, but I'm not gonna do that now because probably I'll destroy the stream. Hold. Hold. Oh no, I need to make this bigger. Properties. Opity. Hold. Let's make it big. Yes. Hold. let's say another text file. Properties. I need to reset my countdown timer. I'll plot that into the screen so you guys can see that, what I'm using. So that is 16. Can somebody? It was 16:13, right? My memory is leaving me. Oh, more people joining. Yes, 90 minutes wait. Double silver iodine and make the clouds fall down. Well, me. Well, it's a combination of both at the moment. So yeah. Flocking to my stream. Repeat the time. Live commentary. So 0303. Yeah, it's 90 minutes. Let's make a new one. Add source. Resumes and so yeah. I'm not stressing about this, so that's a plus. Nothing to be worried about. But yeah, something I discovered, which is quite interesting. It's not about the Atlas V or anything. Next Ariane 5 mission is going to launch 3 satellites. They're going to launch one mission extension vehicle, then another Lockheed satellite, and a Intelsat something, I believe, or some, I don't know, but they're gonna launch 2 communication satellites and 1 mission extension vehicle, which means they have 3 main payloads. And if I remember, if I'm correct, that is gonna be the first time the Ariane 5 launches with 3 main payloads. But yeah, 90 minutes wait indeed. And so let me see what is in. Let's go windy.com. Let's see what it does in 2 hours. Wind. Let's see. Wind is gonna in the morning. I go to 10. Well, yeah. Rain is actually getting worse. Slightly, I think. Oh no, that's the temperature. Well, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Well, wind gusts are. It's gonna be slightly decreasing wind. But we will see. They're gonna thread the needle if they're gonna launch it. Yeah. Pull up the chat again. Yes. Hi from Croatia. Welcome. Is that launch delayed for the other day? No, they have pushed it back by another 90 minutes. And yes, Emmanuel, it is indeed, because the big fairing, they have a slightly lower tolerance for ground winds. I guess that already, but yeah, you can see that. Well, it's not really great because the weather is still around 20% go, so they're gonna thread the needle if they're gonna launch it, and I feel like they'll need to push it back to tomorrow around the same time ish, probably 20 minutes early. Yeah, I know, but you're in the chat as Emmanuel, so I will call you that. Deal with it. No, I know him, so I think I can make this joke. Deal with it. But no, but if they push it back to tomorrow, the Starlink that is scheduled to launch tomorrow will also be pushed back because they can't launch 2 rockets and from the same range at the same day. Not at this moment, anyway. Well, the info for Starlink 7 is that it is gonna launch for Europeans tomorrow morning, but this is scheduled, so the backup launch window for this is like 2 hours later. So unless they have made big changes in their range support, the Air Force is not able to support 2 launches on one day. So yeah, so weather conditions are like iffy here. Welcome. When it starts rocket launching, around 90 minutes right now. They've passed beyond the first launch window, and they have. Why is this launch delayed? Well, they have. They have bad weather. It's like they have a subtropical storm, or a forming subtropical storm off the coast, which means there are a lot of wind and clouds moving in, and rockets going through. They now need 24 hours for range turnaround. Okay, yeah. So they still, my point stands that they can't support 2 launches in 24 hours. And I believe they were looking into supporting 2 launches in 24 hours because SpaceX is what SpaceX wants to do is like basically get back the first stage and launch it again within 24 hours, but yeah, they can't yet. And also, like, hi, greetings from Finland. I saw that. Like, welcome to my stream. Yeah, I kind of pulled a cheeky move by putting it online earlier, because what YouTube does is it puts it above everybody else's, or like, it puts it high into others' streams of, like, if you look for this launch, you'll probably find it quite high. I haven't looked for it myself, but I think it's up there, or it gets recommended by other related streams. But yeah, I'm here. The real question is, it would be doesn't necessarily need to be 2 Starlink missions, but definitely the second one is going to be a Starlink mission. The Federation, well, the Russians are, but they have more launch sites than the Americans, so yeah, 1 RTLS, so they Dragon maybe, or some other low Earth satellite, and then go into Starlink. Yeah, that will probably be it. But back to the Russians. Russians have a higher launch rate, but they have more launch sites they could launch from because they have Kourou. The Soyuz from Kourou counts as a Russian launch, technically because it's a Russian launcher. They have Plesetsk doesn't have a Soyuz launch site, but they launch different rockets from Plesetsk. They have Baikonur, and then they have Vostochny, I believe, is the other one, and that's it. I think so. They have 4 instead of 2 for the U.S. because they have USS-7 and. Well, then live feed. This is from ULA itself, so hold on. It's the mainstream from ULA, so that is high quality. Hold on. You can go here for the main thing, but they won't show you anything at the moment, but yeah. Except for a fuming rocket and no chat, so. Just a taxi next to spaceship. Professional launch service, yeah. Well, technically it does, Simon, because it's in the contract that they can also perform Russian-only launches from Kourou. And they don't need the European range there. Because the telemetry, everything, all confirmations go via Russia whenever Arianespace launches a Soyuz. So yeah, for all the well, okay, Kourou doesn't count as a Russian launch site, but for Soyuz it does, because we have Ariane and Vega on Kourou, but it's a gray area because the Russians are allowed to launch their own missions from Kourou. They don't do that, but they're allowed to. So they technically have 3 instead of 2. What's so special about this launch? Well, it's a freaking space plane going to orbit, so that's special. And I think they're gonna stretch this again, because last time they had the X-37 in orbit, it was up there for 740 something days, I believe. I can look that up. And I think right now they're gonna push it over 800 because they can. Yeah, it's because they built a Soyuz base in Kourou, but then there were like conditions, and I think one of the conditions is that the Russians were allowed to launch their own rockets from Kourou. Yeah, they supply the stuff. They supply the rockets, but the weird thing is, normally you would have like if you have seen a Arianespace launch, they have the console, like the same as with ULA, and then everybody sits on console, and the guy calling every milestone out, it always has a delay between whenever it's scheduled to happen and when they call it out. And what happens is the telemetry doesn't get sent directly to the consoles. What happens is the telemetry gets or actually goes to the Russian controllers in Russia, then it gets sent back to Kourou. So when they get confirmation, it needs to be confirmed in Russia before they can actually get the confirmation of like stage separation happening. Do you think it will ever happen? They ever will? I don't know, because mostly Russian launches are Russian classified missions, and it is way easier to keep it within Russian territory than ship it over halfway across the world and then launching it. But they could. Any development / research around there as well as Russia? Or what do you mean this? What's this launch doing for this launch for the Space Force? Well, there are a lot of experiments aboard. Some of them are classified, and they already said earlier in the stream they have seeds on there, so they will grow them once they get back on the ground. There is one experiment which is quite interesting. They have a sort of solar panel. They produce power from that. Then they convert the electricity to microwaves and then send the microwaves to the ground, and then they try and reconvert those to power. So there is this idea that when you send a huge solar satellite into space and then you can beam back the energy harvested in space via microwaves to the ground, so the ground can get convert those microwaves back into energy, so you get energy, although there's a lot of energy loss in converting power. And again, for the X-37B, it was in orbit for 717 days, so no, it was on orbit for 797 days. I'm sorry, it's longer than every other mission. And every mission, they keep it in space for longer, so my guess is that they will probably push it over 800 days now, so yeah, over 2 years. So this is not spying or anything for Space Force. It is just R&D. So it can also be material science. Last mission had a experimental Hall thruster on there, I believe, or it was a so an ion thruster on there, but a lot of experiments are classified. No, yeah, I'm in this on the same side as that they should paint the Starlink satellites black, and it's a shame they didn't do earlier. But that being said, the ones at operational height, I haven't seen them visually. I haven't tried and photographing them. They might be able, or they might show up on photographs, but visually I haven't seen them. But that is the ones that are operational height. As soon as they are launched, you can see them. So yeah, I know painting them black is not easy, but they could have halted these Starlink launches until they found a fix for it and then continued to launch. Yeah, they do have albedo mitigation now, and they aren't quite as visible, but I still think that orbital debris is going to be a very good, or orbital debris is not good, but it is going to be a issue for them because they put this Starlink satellites right up into an orbit where it's most crowded. So yeah. They had different cell reacting to space. Yeah, it could be, but then again, that might be able to be performed on the ISS and not on this thing itself. But yeah. and then again, space. Yeah, but we definitely need to go and start removing debris from the Earth as soon as we can. Hey man, tell me please, what's up with that white smoke? That is liquid oxygen boiling off, turning into a gas, and then being expelled from the rocket so the pressure doesn't build up. But because it's colder than the air outside, the air has a lot of moisture in it, and then that condenses. So that's the white vapor you see. Well, that's the point. There is no permission needed to put your spacecraft somewhere. If you wanted to put a spacecraft like right next to a Starlink satellite, there is nobody that's gonna tell you no, you can't. The only person that is gonna tell you, hey man, don't do this, is Elon himself, or like SpaceX themselves are gonna be like, could you not please? But there's no actually rules that prevent you from doing that. Yeah, and to be honest, OneWeb going bankrupt is kind of a bad thing since SpaceX doesn't have any competition, and owning a monopoly isn't really great. Well, the Starlink satellites will have sunshades from Starlink 9, so 2 more launches without, and that being said, they do maneuver their solar panels, or they angle them so that they have the least amount of reflection. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Arianespace actually bought OneWeb, because they already were paid for the contract, and they owe, or OneWeb owes Arianespace the most. So yeah. But then, that being said, SpaceX already had interest in buying OneWeb, but if they do, that will be bad, because then they will basically get a monopoly. I don't really like that. I like competition, because yeah, there are no rules after Chinese recovery test. Everybody agrees nothing can be well, did China recover a satellite? I don't think they did. They only shut down their own satellites a few years ago, same as India, which everybody does that, should be punished for it. America tried that in the 80s. They know it doesn't work. But yeah, they definitely should make up rules for what you can do in space and whatnot. Because, in my opinion, 42,000 satellites is way too much. And OneWeb's constellation was already quite big, but if SpaceX goes ahead with the full... yes, but the likelihood of collisions will increase by a lot, because you will basically double the objects in space, and that is big objects we can track. Things like that are smaller than a centimeter, you can't track those. Well, it's hard. But putting 42,000 satellites in orbit increases the... Yes, we know where Starlink satellites are, but you don't know where all the objects smaller than, or like from a centimeter down. Well, actually from 10 centimeters down to a centimeter, those are already hard to track, but you don't know where those are. And even a centimeter fragment, if it hits one of the Starlink satellites, those are dead. You can't recover them. So orbital debris will still be a big issue. Even if they don't hit each other, it still will be hard to keep all satellites from being destroyed. Space junk moving. Yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are being removed. And yes and no, because blowing up your satellites is, yes, creates more debris, and I would say it's just as dangerous, since they're putting their satellites at 550 kilometers, while that's right in the middle of the most populated belt of satellites, and there are over 4,000 dead objects in space. I believe it's even closer to 8,000. I can look it up, but it's a lot. And we have around 1 million small fragments, so like between 10 and 1 centimeter, and then from there on it becomes way more. So even though, if you know your own satellites won't collide and you won't collide with big known objects, the smaller fragments are the danger, because if they hit you at the correct spot, or even with the flat design of the starlings, if they hit them from either below or above, they will. Starship could definitely be used to recover dead satellites, or they could even contract smaller launchers that launch a whole bunch on a Falcon 9, and they are like CubeSats that grab the dead or the dead starlings, the dead other dead objects, and pull them down. Yes, that is definitely a possibility, but since well, Starship isn't online yet, so they can't start with getting debris down, but definitely before we put more stuff into space, we definitely should focus on getting the stuff that is up there down. At least the big objects, because the smaller objects are less likely to hit you because of their smaller size, but there are more of them. Where are they going to launch? This is on the Cape Canaveral. So, and we are talking about the Starlink satellite, and this is not Starlink, so. Yeah, well, the thing is, they'll probably focus Starship on the passenger one first, so I don't. Yeah, that's also, Starship is quite big. I think the most sensible way is to contract a satellite removing company, because there are a few of them out there. Why is there so much smoke coming out? It's not smoke, it's water vapor. It is the inside of the frozen tank is liquid oxygen, and that's boiling off, and they're venting it out to prevent pressure buildup. But the gas coming out is so cold that it condenses the air, or condenses the water vapor in the air, and it is the liquid oxygen boiling off. And it's not the LH2, because if you would LH2 is burned off in a stack on the outside of the launch pad, or just on the edge of the launch pad. Yeah, it keeps raining. It's not a really good sign. Well, it's not vented outside of the surface tower. It's actually burned off in a stack like it is on the, like the methane is on the starship, or the Starhopper in this case. Place starship between Earth and the Moon, where gravity meets the Lagrange point. That position. What? Putting something in a Lagrange point isn't easy, and starship can't get there without tanking. I don't really know what you're going for. This rocket gonna go to Mars? No, this is not going to Mars. This is launching the X-37B spaceplane to orbit, hopefully, in, let me see, and around an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna put this on. Yeah, it is transferred to that thing. So I'm gonna put this on hold slightly while I can do this, or I can leave it but remove my camera. I don't know what you guys prefer. I'll just leave it on the live webcast and then disable the wrong disable this, and I'll put on that add source, contour zooms in, and then I'll put on my spider thing. Yes, add source. This, come on. I'll put down the hold as well. Yes, transition this. Yeah, it is still working. It's still the same thing, but I'll leave it at this and I'll return soonish. I'm gonna get some drink. I'm gonna get a drink. Okay. Okay, unmute myself. Oh, wrong one. This back on. Let's switch it around. Transition. Seeing my side view, my nose was too pointy. Let me disable this. I'll have another 50 minutes to wait, but I like talking about space with guys from the chat. I'll pull back on the chat. I got myself coffee, so I'll be able to survive. Hold on, why is this not on my other window? Close. Yes, shut this down. Okay, my stream might be... Seriously, Discord. I'm watching the other live stream at the same time. Yeah, well, mine is slightly behind. That's why a lot of people switch to the original stream, but it's like only 4-ish seconds. Hope you are hosting this. Thanks. Well, I like the hosting this. The only thing I don't do is SpaceX launches, because there's Tim and SpaceX that get way more views or viewers. So, although I still like to do it, I rather watch Tim or SpaceX myself and not do anything myself. But nobody else is doing these, so hey, why not? Well, I believe there's a few other guys doing this, but yeah, I thought I'd do this. And while you're guys here, like, if you'd subscribe at the same time, hey, and I'll be doing the H2B the 20th, so that is next week in 4 days, hopefully, but it's likely going to be pushed back a bit. But I'll do that. So I already made a live stream for that, so if you don't want to subscribe, okay, but put the... Tim gets ranting about bullshit. It seems more, you seem a bit more interesting. The interesting part of this stuff. Well, Tim is, well, I like Tim, but sometimes he turns into a SpaceX fanboy a bit. Although he's still Team Space, but I like him. Although sometimes I don't enjoy watching his live stream, I like him. But if you don't like him and like me instead, hey, just watch me. just subscribe. Thank you guys. Thanks. So yeah, well, definitely better than 2 or 3 years ago. Is that me or Tim? I know my streams 2 years ago were whack, but I've improved. Just jealous of his spacesuit. Well, yeah. It's not really a spacesuit, though. It is just a Russian flight suit. So, yeah. But it's still fun. Let's see. Ooh. There's a fire on South Padre. It's like a hotel or something on fire. Well, that's bad. I knew this channel for only like 6 months. Yeah, well, I haven't been. I have like quite a few plans still going and writing scripts, but then to be honest, I'm still on school. I'm preparing to go to university after, not next year, but the year after. So busy. Life is quite busy, and then sometimes I don't really feel like doing YouTube. But I like these streams. But then, with the whole virus going on, a lot of companies have halted their progress, so there's not a lot of launches going on. So, yeah. But I like this. Yeah, the water tower from Boca. But yeah, hold on, I'll pull that up. It's quite serious. This is live. It's real bad. Look. I don't know what it is, but I think it's like an apartment building, or...
Starting to get a little bit of drizzle coming in. Hopefully that'll help us out. If all we can hope for is a big rainfall real quick.
Yeah, that's bad. I hope nobody is hurt or killed. Even worse. Oh, that's serious. If that's an apartment building, that's bad. What's the exact time of launch? It's depending what time zone it is in like 45 minutes, less even. It's at 7 or at 4:13 for me, but there was another 2 confirmed cases of the virus. Yeah, well, probably get demonetized. Well, I don't even get money from these streams, so it's no issue. But which country do I live in? I live in the Netherlands. So, yeah. It is in roughly 40 minutes. Of course I know India. We live in India. Well, it's in 45 minutes. I don't know the time zone of India. I'm sorry. I love Israel, though. Yeah. They should start launching again. I love the PSLV. Speaking about the PSLV, hold on. I have like 3D printed the booster or the strap-ons, and I'm planning on making a flying model from it. But I have so much stuff going on because I also have foam board stuff, which is like the for the Spaceship 2, but yeah, I have a lot of projects going on. This is like the core stage SRB 3D printed the thing, and then I put an engine inside of here, and hopefully it launches with yeah, I do make 3D models and print them if for rocketry or whatever, but yeah. I haven't flown it, so I don't know if it works. That is. No. You also do that. That's cool. This is hard. But yeah, I like to make scale rockets that fly on their own without any extra added fins. Yes, this is actually part of the prototyping. I don't know if this is actually work or... No, it's not. It's gonna be passively it's not gonna have any electronics in it. Maybe a altimeter, but that's it. I'm not gonna like electronically deploy parachutes or do any thrust factoring. But I'd like to learn that someday and maybe use it. Well, I've used a Arduino before, but that was not for any rocketry type thing. Okay, now I'm gonna check on YouTube itself because I think YouTube is pushing my stream somewhere. Since I've had quite a lot of Cosmic Perspective is also live. No, it doesn't show it live for me. Yeah, well, at least welcome if you're here. When are they launching? In, well, roughly 40 minutes? Yeah. No, around an hour. Like in, it's 30, 40, 44 plus 5 is 49 minutes. In 49 minutes they're gonna try. Yeah, the wind speeds should be increasing, but the range should be decreasing, but they care about the clouds. If the clouds are still there, they're not gonna launch. What? Oh, hold on. You should try blowing up stuff like capacity. Nah, I'm not gonna blow up anything. Hold on. You guys should check this out. This launch is, by the way, launching the X-37B to the ISS. To the ISS. Oh, my brain is so bad. No, it's not gonna launch anything to the ISS. It's just gonna launch it into space, but it's a space plane, so that's cool. I need to go to my own channel. My channel, new thing. Okay, let me mute this for a sec. Watching my own videos on my own live stream channel. Good. Well, I did this, if you call this blowing up, but yes, I did this. This is a prototype rocket engine, and we're not going to do anything else with it anymore, but yeah. This is something I do. I do crazy shit like this. I'm not even in university, so yeah. No, it's not sugar. It's paraffin. It's paraffin wax and gaseous oxygen. So yeah, and it made a hell of a lot of noise. It made a lot of noise. So yeah. It was for a school project. Well, what I just showed isn't isn't around Space Force. I hope they don't do that. No, but this is for the Space Force. Well, technically, the Space Force is not a new something because the Air Force already had a space department, and that department is now called the Space Force. So they didn't really make something new, but this is a Space Force launch since it is like Air Force activity in space. Well, there was a rubber seal in there, but it burned to a crisp. Well, it was the engine itself was a block of aluminium, and well, the test was so short that it didn't really heat up. Well, it was hot at the end, but it didn't melt or anything. And we pulled water around it, so. But it was pure aluminium. No, I still have it around here, by the way. While we wait. Open my closet. Yes, here it is. This is what it was, but there's still wax in it. Let me see if I can see myself better. Yeah. This is what it is. It's quite, well, it's not that big, but it looks bigger on camera. But it still looks perfectly fine. Focus. Yes. It probably could be used again, because this is the nozzle. And it's really overexpanded, we know, but this had to be machined from one part. Because originally the design was to 3D print it in with filament and then melt out the plastic and fuse the metal particles together, but that didn't work out, so we had to revert to a simpler method. So a friend from university, he helped us out with making this because I don't have access to anything to make this, so that's what we did. I sent him drawings for this, he helped us, and yeah, then we got this. Well, technically, so the other countries have Space Force. Other countries do have a sort of Space Force, but their rocket activities are merged within their military, so technically they have a Space Force that is, it's kind of vague, it's a gray area. I have a NET-6A 3D printer, but it wasn't the 3D printing itself, it needs to be in a furnace, and then you basically keep it at 350 degrees for 4 hours, so you melt out the plastic. Then you heat it up for 40 minutes to 900 degrees, so the particles melt together, and then you take it out. And in our school didn't want to change the program for the furnace, so everything was charcoal at the end. Well, no, it's not in any oxide layer preventing it. It's just this is, I think, around a kilogram of aluminium still, maybe bit less, maybe a bit more, but it's just the rough mass of this limited from heating up, because it was such a small flame and it wasn't a lot of high pressure. So, but we wanted to be safe and not have it explode. That is why the walls are so thick. But yeah. And it was turned on a lathe, and Milan, you were using thick rolled and glued paper. Oh, you're doing the potassium. What is it? Potassium. I don't know what it's called for the and the sugar rockets. Yeah, I've done those too. They're actually a mixture. Still in my closet. Melting. Which printer? 90 degrees Celsius. Yeah. Show. Oh yeah, new comedy show about Space Force. I saw that. I'm gonna watch it as soon as it comes out. It's the 29th of June, I believe. Potassium nitrate, yes. I forgot how it was called, but it's potassium nitrate. What do you... yeah, but my 3D printer, it requires a bit of modification to make it like a good 3D printer. You need belt tensioners and maybe a different set carrier. But yeah, it's a good printer. But I probably will try and reprint some of the parts to make it better. Aluminium and aluminium oxide has different melting point pretty soon after. Yes, but this isn't. Yeah, okay, there might be an oxide layer on there, but it's not that evident. Thermal properties change due to scratching, I know, but yeah. It was just a prototype engine anyway, so it's not gonna fly or anything. TBBT, hold on. The Big Bang Theory, yes, I love that show. Well, I haven't seen a lot of it, but I know I like it. I really like it. Yeah. En het is weer. Yeah. Big Bang Theory, yes. But yeah, I do crazy stuff. Oh, this came for anyone that likes Formula 1. I printed this with my 3D printer, so you're able to print quite a few good things. This is my Formula 1 car. I broke the steering, so it doesn't work at the moment, but yeah. Yeah, well, but also there's like the paraffin inside that had a hole in it, so the inside of the combustion chamber was never exposed to the flame directly, and everything burnt with the oxygen before it reached the choking point before it reached the throat, And the throat was probably also protected by the fact that there was a vapor of the paraffin wax mixed inside of the gas. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's quite a bit of parts for the Formula 1 car. Saltpeter's a nice fuel. Well, if you want to make a real good solid rocket fuel, you should use ammonium perchlorate and then HTPB and aluminium. That's the best. But potassium nitrate, yes, is made from saltpeter, I believe, or saltpeter is used in the process. But yes. What's my age? I'm 19. So. I've made sugar rockets before, but nah. I prefer these, the ones you can buy in the store that don't explode. And well, making your own solids could be useful, but then again, it's more dangerous, and over here you're technically not allowed to do it yourself. So, well, I just buy these. They're not crazy expensive. They're like probably €2 per engine, so they're not that expensive. Well, I can look it up, but it's a bit more. It's like between €2 and €6 per engine, which is not that expensive. They tuned the combustion chambers so that the inrush of air that fed the reaction drew the heat away from the combustion chamber was faster than they heated up. No, it didn't draw it away faster, but the thing is, if you have like the completely filled except for one hole, because what I did I filled the combustion chamber with paraffin wax, then waited till it was solid, took it out, drilled a hole in the middle. So what it does, it burns from the inside out, but then the paraffin wax, it needs a lot of energy to melt and turn into a vapor, and it is also an insulator. So what it does is the heat from inside of the engine doesn't reach the wall as quick as you would expect. So the heating goes quicker as more fuel is burned, of course, but eventually everything turned into liquid and settled at the bottom. But yeah, it was quite a good experience, and maybe in the future I'm gonna do this again, but then with different things. Do rockets these days still use oil or something else for fuel? Well, it's not oil. This rocket uses RP1 in the first stage, which is a refined variant of kerosene. And in the upper stage it uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Yeah, it doesn't affect it. It draws away the heat from turning into a gas and then mixing with the oxygen, and then the heat gets absorbed by the material itself, by the fuel itself, and then it burns further. I used to run my car on hydrogen when I was broke. How does that work? You can't run a gas car on hydrogen or any other car. well, you get a real bad mileage then, because you can't use it like liquid in your. How does that even work? I know you have hydrogen cars, but they're not like really commercially available. Not really, anyway. But yeah. Well, the weather seems to be clearing up, so they might lift off. We don't know. I don't think they ever used oil. Kerosene is an oil product, but they never use raw oil because that is way too. Well, technically you could, but it produces way too much soot. So there's like it clogs up your pipes. So you want like a clean burning fuel. But yeah, they sort of use oil. Yes, if it waits too long, it might become Atlas 5 heavy with ice. Yeah. Well, the ice shakes off like the beginning of the launch. As soon as it starts moving, the vibration of the rocket itself will shake a lot of ice off. Did they fire many engines with gasoline as fuel back in the 40s? I think they did try something like it. But then again, in the earliest rockets probably used ethanol instead of something more energy rich, because with ethanol dissolves in water, so to control the combustion temperature and to a point the heating of the engine and the chamber pressure is not really controlled by the heating. To a certain point it is, but what they could do is add more water to the ethanol, so the water would vaporize and absorb a bit of the heat, so the engine itself wouldn't melt. They tried okay, gasoline and nitrogen. Oh yeah, nitrogen oxides. Yeah, that is more likely than. Well, if you can get it burning really cleanly, you might be able to use gasoline as a fuel, but then you couldn't make a regeneratively cooled engine because gasoline vaporizes quite quickly. Well, the back in the war days, when they had the V2, Germany would actually put glycol inside of the ethanol, so to make it poisonous, so people wouldn't drink it, because there were people drinking the fuel before. Oh, what is it? Like you have ethanol, methanol. Then they put glycol or methanol in it, because ethanol is what's in your beverage, in your alcoholic beverage, but methanol is like 2 carbon, and then that's poisonous. But yeah, the Germans were rocket pioneers. Yeah. We're still waiting for this launch. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a 90 minutes break. Launching the X-37B to the ISS. Yes, that's the quote of my... Yeah, we should save all these quotes. Yeah. Oh, Lucas sent me something else. What? What is that? Okay. Okay. Lucas sent me a tweet, and it says, ULA has developed a plan to enabling the team to count down to within a few seconds of the target launch window, manually monitoring ground winds instead of relying on an automated system. But wind rules remain in place, and launch will still be scrubbed if limits is exceeded. So, yes. A rocket just fell on my table. No, it was my perfume, but I don't know why it just decided to come down. I don't know. I tested gravity, I think, and it still works. Oh, why is smoke coming out of the rocket? It's not smoke, it's still gaseous oxygen boiling off, going into the air, and then or they vent it out to prevent the pressure inside of the tank becoming too big, and the gas is still so cold that it condenses the vapor in the air. That's what it is. Is the rocket a bit tilted? No, it isn't. I think the camera is a bit tilted. I know what you mean, but it isn't. It's straight. It should be straight, at least. But the launch tower is slanted. Why would you use diesel and eggs as a fuel? What? I've never heard that before. Ooh. Let's see what's on my Twitter. What's this launch about? Well, it's launching a space plane, and space planes are cool, so that's what it is. But yeah, no, it's basically technology demonstrators. Like inside of the cargo bay, there's like a lot of classified technology demonstrating stuff we don't know about. It will probably stay in orbit for around 800 days, so yeah. And it's the 6th mission of one of these. Because they have 2. They have and I believe this is the 2nd one? I don't know. Using urine for rocket fuel. I don't know. Is there any combustibles inside of urine? That's interesting. Maybe we should look into that. Like, Rocket Space uses water as rocket fuel. We use urine. And you can make the pun, whenever your rocket goes south, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay. These jokes are not funny. Yes. Yes, 10 more minutes until live commentary. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. You probably shouldn't be smart to use urine as... Yeah. But if it leaks, you're also in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I already showed that, Simon. I saw that earlier on, and let's check on that. La Padre was streaming it. It's huge.
Oh, you own it, Gulf Point? Oh, man. I hope this isn't the area that you have. This isn't one of your spots.
But I believe it is an apartment building, so... It's really... I think one of these was showing it. No, it wasn't. There was another camera. Oh yeah, that's definitely showing it. Yeah, this is the... Yeah. The wind isn't helping. Oh, it's gonna collapse.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have a lot more. I just hope it doesn't jump to these other ones. It looks like it's just contained to one unit right now, or one complex.
It's an apartment complex, isn't it? Yeah, it's bad.
I cannot confirm if everyone's okay. We do have multiple EMS on scene. I don't see them scattering, but again, they can't get close to this place anyway. Early on, they were evacuating. I can confirm that they were evacuating early on. I heard on the scanner. No, sir, this is not Starship related, everybody. We're about 6 miles away on South Padre Island to the north of SpaceX on Boca Chica.
I hope everybody is okay. Yeah.
We do have ground build in the house now. Oh, there goes my hat. Stand by, guys.
Yeah, I hope everybody was safely evacuated, but yeah. I saw that. I showed it earlier on, but now the whole building is gone. When I spotted it, it was only one half of the building, but now it's like the complete building. Oh, it's almost June. Okay, I was... you probably are Lego fans, you know Lego. But Lego was coming with a Lamborghini, so, and I'm waiting for that because I really want it. Do you have your own workshop for building rockets? No, I don't. But my ambition is definitely making something with rockets. Well, my ultimate goal is being an astronaut, but if I can make a living from building rockets, I'll take that too. Lamborghini Sian, I think it is. Well, we don't know for sure, but it looks like it was the Lamborghini Sian. I've been live for over 3 hours. Oof. Well, technically I was an hour before I started. I went live, but yeah. Well, I'm gonna try, but who knows? First, I need to finish university. That's my. Well, first get accepted into university. That's my newest goal. Next year I'm gonna do some hobby stuff, work, school. Then hopefully get accepted into university. Yes, definitely. Okay, I'm a bit on Twitter. It's getting a bit dry. What university do you go to? Well, I don't go to university. I want to go to university eventually, but the university in Delft in the Netherlands is the one I'm aiming for. And then aerospace engineering. Ooh, look, this is the surface module. This is the Dream Chaser surface module. It just arrived in their final assembly place. Look, this is cool. That's quite big. It's bigger than I expected. Cloud forecast improves on clear outside. Yeah, it looks better, but the wind, I think the wind is now the biggest problem.
This is Atlas Mission Control at T-minus 4 minutes and hold it.
Not
Welcome back
33.
to the Atlas
Okay,
Flight
that might
Operations
be.
Center at Cape Canaveral in live coverage of the launch of USSF-7. We are approaching the opening of our second 10-minute launch window today at 10:13 a.m. Eastern. Liftoff did not occur during the first 10-minute window due to weather, and the weather continues to be no-go for the cumulus cloud rule, high ground winds, and the field mill rule, which governs the electrical potential in the air. The launch team has developed a plan to perform manual monitoring of the ground wind limit instead of relying on computer control that could trip the terminal count. Our normal wind monitoring watches for wind gusts from the start of terminal count at T-minus 4 minutes down to T-minus 11 seconds. We are manually monitoring those parameters now starting at T-minus 3 minutes instead of T-minus 4 to shorten the amount of time we need to go without a gust to increase our chances of launching today. Jessica Williams,
still 80% no-go.
recently updated the launch team on current weather conditions. The probability of violating launch constraints is 80%. The ground winds are 20 to 26 knots out of the northeast, and the temperature is 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
Let's see what the wind is gusting to. Oh. I'll refresh it in.
As a reminder, the USSF-7 launch carries a special dedication. Together with the Space Force, ULA is honoring healthcare workers, first responders, and other essential personnel on the front lines. And with this launch, we also stand in solidarity with
No, there are no people on the rocket.
or experiencing loss due to the virus.
There's nobody on there.
America Strong is a national salute to all those who have given so much during this pandemic. The Department of Defense and United Launch Alliance salute each American serving on the front lines in our fight against COVID-19. We are all in this together. Following liftoff, a few special guests will share their perspective on the role of our heroes in this fight. We remain in the planned 30-minute hold as we continue towards liftoff. In a few moments, launch conductor Dylan Rice will pull the launch team for the final go to pick up the countdown.
Hope everything is still go.
L-minus 7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Atlas system. Propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulic.
Go.
Pneumatic. Go.
Yeah, technically people in space are the safest at this moment.
Sensor systems. Propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatic.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
LH2.
Go.
HAZGAS.
Go.
Electrical system. Airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
DCQ.
Go.
Operational support.
Go.
COM. COM.
Com is not responding.
Go.
ECS.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
Go.
Relay safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Go. Yes. Right. Red.
No go for
probably.
range
Yeah.
weather LCP violation.
Roger. LD, LC, net 1.
LD on 1.
Okay, with that no-go report, I recommend we set up for the end of the window.
I copy that. Stand by for coordination on that.
Okay, another 10 minutes. Still no go. Yeah, I didn't expect anything else though, but yeah, still no go.
We're now resetting for a launch opportunity at the end of the window at 10:23 a.m. Eastern.
Go, LD.
Yeah, please coordinate coordinate a new T0 of 14:23:00 Zulu.
Roger. 1423 Zulu. RC, LC, net 1.
Go.
Please coordinate a new T0 of 142300 Zulu with the rain. Roger. ALC, please reset the countdown clock for a new T0 of 142300 Zulu.
Roger.
If you're wondering what I'm looking at my phone, but not
LC,
much
countdown
going
clock
on.
set for new T0 of 14.
Watching Twitter, but there are new raindrops on the cameras. Yeah, not gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna look you up on Twitter.
LD, LC, net 1.
LD on 1.
Okay, per our previous discussion regarding the go pending for the end of the window, the plan would be to have the range coordinator report go pending, the final status check, and if the weather violations do not clear, have the range rock report no-go at 60 seconds.
Okay, so they're gonna do.
Roger.
Weak American space industry can't handle it.
RC, LC, 1.
Well, there are Russian engines
Go.
on this, so.
Okay, please coordinate a go pending with the rock, having the rock report no-go if the weather constraints are not cleared at T-minus 60 seconds.
Roger. And your T0 is approved.
Roger.
Okay, they're now gonna go and manually monitor everything. Still expect a no-go though. Nah. Looking at the shaking of the camera and the rain, yeah, low chance. Well, not that kind of manually monitoring. No, they're gonna watch the weather manually now. But, yeah. I'd say that tomorrow is the most likely launch opportunity.
L minus 10 minutes.
Well, I'm not gonna watch till tomorrow. No, but I'm gonna be live streaming it again tomorrow, so yeah. I don't expect this to actually lift off now. I'm like, okay, when are we scrubbing rockets? Oof. No, the wind is not changing, but what's the wind gusts that are the problem?
L minus 9 minutes.
How is this the second American fail? I don't.
As you can tell from our cameras, we're still encountering some weather issues, but we're still trying to get off at the end of the window today. The field mill rule has now been relaxed, but we're still fighting the cumulus cloud and high winds.
They have switches on there. They don't really have a panel, but they have switches that say go or no go, and basically everything else is controlled by the computer. But I imagine somebody needs to actually click go or put it. There is some input needed to start the countdown, but there's a lot that is software controlled. But there's no big red button that you push and then it launches.
L minus 7 minutes.
Status check to proceed with terminal count, Atlas systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics.
Go.
LO2.
Go.
Water.
Go.
Centaur systems, propulsion.
Go.
Pneumatics.
There probably is one for FTS,
Go.
but
LH2.
Go.
ASGAS.
Go.
Electrical systems, airborne.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Facility.
Go.
RFFTS.
Go.
Flight control.
Go.
TCQ.
Go.
Operation support.
Go.
Calm.
and again, commas
Go.
not responding.
Go.
Redline monitor.
Go.
Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Calm.
Go.
Com is
Repeat.
com is go.
Roger. Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range coordinator.
Go pending.
Launch director.
Go pending.
Launch vehicle is ready to launch.
Mission director.
Mission director, you have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. ALC, verify T0 is set for 1423 Zulu. Verified.
They're probably gonna go down to like close to T0 and then
Switch ready.
T minus
report
5
hold,
minutes,
hold.
30 seconds.
OS, start list data capture.
Roger.
It says go pending, so probably the go isn't in yet, but it could come within now and like the launch, but if it's not there, they'll call it off.
The team has indicated they are go for launch, but this is pending range clear for the weather violations. Currently, the range is showing 90% probability of no-go.
The odds of launch have decreased. Oof.
T-minus 4 minutes, 30 seconds.
SMD, transfer spacecraft to internal power.
Roger.
All steps complete prior to terminal count.
On my mark, the time will be...
They
10
have
minutes, 4
drones!
minutes, and count.
Yes! Even ULA has drones.
Mark. T-minus 3 minutes, 55 seconds.
Ground pyro is enabled.
Drone! Oh, that's cool. That's probably practice for the Perseverance launch, but it looks so cool.
The countdown clock has resumed, and we are currently go pending.
It's
for launch
4:20
at
p.m.,
10:23
so
a.m. Eastern.
it's not night for me. Not even dark. Sun is still
T-minus 3
shining.
minutes, 50 seconds.
Atlas tank flight pressure.
FCS internal.
Come on, launch. I don't think it will, but fingers crossed.
T-minus 1 minute, 59 seconds.
Vehicle internal.
155.
Launch sequencer start.
150.
Securing Centaur LH2.
Securing Centaur LO2.
Hold.
Ah, God.
Q. Liftoff ratio exceedance.
Okay, that's a scrub.
Clock is stopped at T-minus 1 minute, 40 seconds. All personnel, enter the recycle steps. Operation 80.
Does it cost $30 million for each rocket? This one is more expensive. This is closer to $75 million, but yeah. It depends on every rocket what their cost is.
LC,
But
this is PNE-1.
Go PNE-1.
Atlas tank pressures are stable.
Roger.
LC, Prop 1.
Go Prop 1.
Propulsion and hydraulic systems are stable.
Roger.
No launch today. We're not going to space today. Dang it.
LC is flight control.
Go flight control.
Flight control is ready to reset the clock to T-minus 4 in holding.
Roger. ALC, reset the countdown clock to T-minus 4 minutes in holding.
Roger.
I don't understand. They don't have any room anymore.
LC, PNE-2, Centaur tank pressures are stable.
The second window has closed. So I don't get it.
LC is flight control.
Go.
SSFAP's inactive, FCS in free flight mode.
Roger.
Yeah, they should be scrubbed for the window.
LC, LD on 1.
Go LD.
MD has directed a scrub for today.
Yes,
Please
there we
prepare
go,
and recycle
scrub.
for 24-hour turnaround.
Wilco.
Yeah, scrub. Okay. Well, guess that's it. Oh, it didn't even switch over the... Well, it doesn't really matter. Oof. Scrub. Well, I guess that
This
ends...
is Atlas Mission Control. It has been confirmed that we will not continue with USSF-7 launch activities this morning. We have a 24-hour recycle, so our next launch attempt will be tomorrow at 9:14 a.m. Eastern.
Which automatically
For the most up-to-date
means
information,
the
please visit
starting is also
ULAlaunch.com.
delayed.
Follow us at ULA Launch or call 1-877-ULA-4321. This concludes today's broadcast. I'm Tyler Strickland. Thank you for joining us.
Come on. Yes, hi, and that will also conclude my webcast for today. So, if you were here, thank you for watching. If you subscribed, thank you. And I'll be here again, same time, well, roughly same time tomorrow. I'll put a stream scheduled stream online almost directly because it's a copy of this. And yeah, if you're there again tomorrow, see you tomorrow. And